Says the Navi. We're up to chapter 11 in Shemuel Bet. So, it says in the Torah, it was the turn of the year when the kings go forth. David sent Yoav with his servants to go destroy children of Ammon and besiege Rabbah. David was in Yerushalayim. And it was one evening when David got out of his bed and he was walking on the roof of his house. He sees a woman bathing. She was very beautiful. David went to go ask about this woman, and they told him, Halo zot Batsheva bat Eliam. Eliam is Batsheva, the daughter of Eliam. Eshet Uriah Hiti, the wife of Uriah the Hiti. She's married. What did he do? David says, I want her. He brought messengers to her, took her. She came to him and he lay with her. And she was mitkadesha mitumata. She was cleansing herself from her tumah, from nida. And she returned to her house. And what did he say? Vata'arisha. And she conceived. She got pregnant. So David is fathering a child with her. And she sends a message to David, I have your baby. So now what does he do? What's going on over here? She's a married woman. What is he, sleeping with a married woman? What's going on? David Yoav. So now David makes another move. What does he do? He says, bring me Uriah Hiti. Who's Uriah Hiti? Bathsheba's husband. He sends Uriah to David, and Uriah came, and David said, no, how is Yoav doing? How are the warriors doing? How's the war going? He said, okay, it's okay. He said, okay, go to your house, wash your feet. Make sure to go to home. Uriah left the house of the king, and there's a royal feast sent for him, but Uriah lay down at the entrance of the king's house, and he did not go to his house. What does it sound like? It sounds like David wanted Uriah to go home, wash his feet, wash his feet, go and be with his wife. Then he's going to see that she's going to be pregnant. What is he going to think? He's going to think it's his kid. And that way, the whole story is covered. He's good. The plan will work, right? But he didn't go. He didn't listen to him. He didn't go to his house. So what did he do? So they told David, listen, David, Uriah didn't go to his house. So David goes to Uriah and he says, Madua la yaralta, why didn't you go home? Uriah tells David, listen, gives him this whole spiritual reason. He says, the Aaron, Israel, Yehuda, Yoshvim Basukot, the Aaron, Israel, and Judah are all in the huts, in the field, in the war. And I'm going to go home. My master, my general is in the field, in the war. I should go home, eat, drink, lie with my wife. I will never do such a thing. What is that? Disrespect. David says to Uriah, okay, stay here today also. Tomorrow I'll send you back to the war. David summoned him. He ate, he drank, he made him drunk. He went out in the evening to lay down in his place, but he didn't go to his house. In the morning, David writes a letter. He writes a letter to who? To Yoav, his general. He says, he puts it in Uriah's hand. He says, give this directly to Yoav. And Yoav gets it. He opens it and it says, place Uriah directly in front of the fierce fighting, all the way in the front lines. And then, while he's in the front lines, all of a sudden pull everybody back. That way he should be alone over there. And he should be struck and he should die. That's what David says. Basically, he tells Yoav, get rid of him, but make it look like an accident. You know, like mafia style. Yeah. Right? So it happened, Yoav was besieging the city. He stationed Uriah in a place where he knew there was powerful warriors. They fought. Yoav's people went back, and Yoav Chiti died. Yoav sent tell David everything. He says, tell the king what happened. So then, then Yoav says, if the king gets upset, he'll say, why did you come close to the city to fight? Don't you know that they shoot from on top of the wall the arrows? And they said there was a story with Avimelech, son of Yerubeshet. there was a woman who threw a big rock over the wall and killed him. So if he gets upset why our men died, tell him, don't worry, Uriah Hittite died also. And then messenger went, told David everything Yoav said. And then David said, tell this to Yoav. Don't let this matter be deemed evil in your eyes, for the sword consumes one way or the other. David's telling Yoav, don't feel weird about what I told you to do. In the war, everybody dies. A lot of people die. Strengthen your offense against the city and destroy it. Vechazkeu, and encourage him. Uriah's wife, Bathsheba, heard that he died. And v'tispoda ba'alaha, she mourns. And the mourning passed. That's it, she does a little bit of mourning. Then the mourning passed. Yishlach David calls for her. He takes her as a wife. She gives birth to a son. And look what the pasuk says. Vayira hadavar asher asa David be'enei Adonai. And the thing that David did was deemed evil in the eyes of Hashem. Okay, so the next chapter is about how Natan the prophet comes and gives him musar and tells him, David Zaparo, what you did was evil. We're going to see exactly what did David do wrong. First of all, we have to explain how is he sleeping with a married woman. That's number one. Number two, what is this? He gave into his desires. He sees a beautiful lady. All of a sudden, he has to make a whole plan to take this woman. What's wrong with David? What is he doing? He's a Sadiq. No? He's a fourth leg Kiseh Kavod. What's going on with him? So obviously, there's a lot of things over here we don't understand. Yeah, we gotta understand what the Ruach HaKodesh said. What's going on over here? What is he doing? Okay, so let's break it down. We gotta break this down because this is the test of David HaMelech. Okay, first of all, we have to know, if you read the Psukim without the oral Torah, you think that David did the worst thing in the world. You have to understand. The Gemara says, whoever says David did a sin is mistaken. You made an error. Now, how can you say that? The Natan the prophet, the next chapter, comes and says to David, you made a sin. You got to make the shuvah. So you can't say he didn't do it, no sin. He did a sin. But the Gemara means that you cannot say that he did adultery. Whoever says David did adultery, you're mistaken. He didn't do adultery. Why? Okay, why we're going to get to in a second. But you cannot say he did adultery. The sin that he did was a smaller sin, not a big sin. There's a rule. If the giants in the Torah did a sin and you understand it, they never would have done it. Only the sin that you wouldn't understand, it's very, very small, that's the sin they did. It cannot be that they did a big sin. Okay. First of all, Bathsheba was not married to Uriah. Right? We're going to see in a second why. Because David's army, every soldier went to war. First, they gave his wife get. David's father, Yishai, made this rule. Because, God forbid, if a soldier gets captured, we don't know where he is. What, his wife going to be aguna all her life? So every guy gives a get before he leaves. That if he doesn't come back when the rest of the army comes back, that means we can assume that the divorce works, and she's divorced from the day he left. So Uriah Hittite was not married in that moment. Number two, why did he kill Uriah? Because Uriah didn't listen. What do you mean he didn't listen? Now, it is funny, David sent Uriah home to cover it up. That we have to speak about. That smells funny. But at the end of the day, did he put Yoav to tell him to put in the front line and to let him die? That was fine, because he could have killed him in Bedin. Now, it's a little bit funny. Usually when the king kills somebody, he has to do Bedin. He didn't do Bedin to Uriah Hittite. He didn't sit him in court. So that we also have to talk about that. But at the end of the day, Uriah didn't listen to the king. If you don't listen to the king, you're rebelling against the king. If you rebel against the king, you deserve death. Okay, fine.
But he had a good reason.
Who? Uriah? Yeah, he said, Aaron is in the war. How can I go home? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're L'Shem Shamayim versus what the king says. You got to do what the king says, right? You got to put your L'Shem Shamayim on the side. King is the king, right?
He didn't want pleasure. He tell him, I don't want. How can
okay, so he should try to convince the king, but the king told him, you got to do what I say.
King had a different intention.
Yeah. Okay, now why did David encourage Uriah to go back home? He says, David, in fact, encouraged Uriah to go back home to Bathsheba, which retroactively would make her Eshet Ish. And David was prepared to accept upon himself the sin of Eshet Ish to avoid a Chilul Hashem coming from his actions. Right? Now, if he didn't go back home, so the get for sure worked. So he didn't do sin. But he was even telling Uriah, go home. And go home means that the get retroactively didn't go, and he'll be willing to do it. Bathsheba would still be forbidden to Uriah because she's anusa. She will be against her will. If the king tells you have to do this, you have to do it. That's a question. If the king tells you to do avera, you have to listen to him. If he tells you do eshet ish with me, you have to listen to him. So the Mefarshim say sounds like it. Sounds like she was anusa. It was against her will. If Hashverosh and Esther, right? She was with him. It was against her will. She was anusa. She's still permitted to Mordechai, right? She was forced. She doesn't have to give up her life to not do avera. Especially a woman, because a woman, the Gemara says karka olam. She's an active. The active member, the active person in the sin is the man. The woman is just there. She's not doing anything. So when she would later give birth, people would assume the child would be Uriah's. David could later inform the child of his true descent and ensure that he won't marry any forbidden relations. So now the Gemara, the Navi says in Sefer Melachim, David was righteous except for the matter of Uriah Hiti. The Zohar says that this sin had nothing to do with Bathsheba. It's rather because he let Uriah get killed by the sword of Ammon. So therefore he says, instead of letting Sanhedrin kill him, he let Goyim kill him. That wasn't good. He should let Jews kill him. That would have been better for his neshama. Because the Ammon had the image of Avodah Zarah on them. So he went and he killed him. He wasn't supposed to do that. He should have let him executed by Sanhedrin. David chose to have Uriah killed in battle because he wanted to marry Bathsheba afterwards. If Sanhedrin would have killed Uriah, enemies of David would have made fun of him. You killed him in Sanhedrin and now you take his wife. We see why you work. So he wanted the Goyim to kill him, that way it wasn't so... Wow. Another mistake of David was that when David killed Goliath, he tried to cut his head off. And he had a hard time because he had a complicated armor. So then Uriah, who was Goliath's armor guard, he helped David and showed him on condition. I'll show you how to open his armor and cut his head off if you give me one of the daughters of Israel. So David said, no problem. This anchored Hashem, and Hashem decreed at that moment, David's zivug will be given to Uriah. He wasn't supposed to agree. He agreed to this goy to give a Jew. How can you give a Jew to give to this goy? So Hashem got angry. He says, you know what? You know which Jewish woman I'm going to give? Your zivug I'm going to give. So his zivug went to Uriah. Chazal say in the Sanhedrin Kuf Zayin, Bathsheba was prepared for David from the 6 days of creation. Problem was, he took her before the right time. That was the problem. Hashem wanted him to wait until his lost possession will be returned to him. And that's the sin we all have. Patience. They let it come at the right time. David forced the agenda. He saw in Ruach HaKodesh, this is for me. What do you mean? It has to be. I have to have it. But Hashem was supposed to give it to him in the right way, and he forced it at the wrong time. That was the sin. He didn't do Eshet Ish. He didn't kill Uriah Hiti for no reason. Problem was no patience. Baruch Hu.